what it's got to feel after being out the game.
50 years of ATP means 50 years of changing the game.
Well, it all started good, you know, playing the semis at the Australian Open, losing to Novak and hurting my knee, not thinking it was a big deal, coming back to Switzerland, realizing on the MRI that there was a broken meniscus and understanding I have to have my first surgery really as a tennis player. Couldn't believe it. It was actually quite emotional, more emotional than I thought it would be. Especially also after the surgery, you know, looking down at my foot and understanding that maybe this leg or this knee will never be the same. But, you know, I took it on my chin and said, okay, I'll start working basically that next day after I came back from the hospital. The plan was quite clear then, you know. I knew I was going to need, a couple of months to come back, and that's exactly what it took. And some reason my knee still wasn't 100% throughout the clay court season. After that, also I got back issues, and that's when I decided to take some time off. Actually, it took me like 5-6 months, which I was willing to give for the sake of living a good life after my tennis days, but also give myself another good shot at just being mentally refreshed, giving the leg the break it deserved, and it honestly took at least another few months until I felt like it was back to 100%.
The remarkable Roger Federer. A victory has never been sweeter than this one, right here, right now.
I think this might be my most special Grand Slam I ever won because it came so unexpected. Reminds me maybe of my first one, but the first one I remember at Wimbledon in 2003. I really, really wanted it badly. I think because I had to also wait maybe for almost 5 years for my last Grand Slam, made it so much cooler, and then plus it was against Nadal, my epic rival. That was special. Going through my first surgery last year, I mean, it was completely an experience I never had before, and I wasn't sure if my body was ever going to allow me to play again. So to be here now, having won it, it's a wonderful feeling.
Did you always want to be a tennis player? Was that always your ambition?
It was like I didn't know if there was anything else to do in life really for the first dozen years. You know, my father's had that in my agenda, and I sort of grew up thinking, you know, this is normal to be a tennis player. You know, it's what we do. But then I'd say I spent a few years throughout my career where I didn't want to be one. But mostly, it was, you know, it was in my blood. But I think anything you sort of pour your heart, sweat and tears and blood into is sort of, it leaves an impression in your mind that it's hard to shake. So it's, you know, it's whatever sort of dramas whatever you consider to be your dramas are the things that sort of stand out the most. My hope is that I've left the game better off. That's what I really hope. I mean, I'm better off for the game. All the relationships and all the people I've met over the years, I know I've been better off for those encounters, and certainly for this game. So somewhere along the line, I hope we're better off now than we were before I came into this scene.
I was very lucky to actually really survive that. It could have been much worse, but yeah, I had a terrible knee injury, and my back, which I had on the left shoulder, was actually crunched under the left rear wheel. But luckily it wasn't me. It was a terrible situation, but it was also a way for me to get grounded again, to focus more on what I wanted to do. We've been on a comeback trial the first day after the surgery, and it was good because my mind was set and kept and focused on training. I had my full program every day. I was doing my gym work, I was doing tennis, I was playing on a special chair designed for me just to hit balls while I was sitting. So I was motivated. I was on fire, and I couldn't wait to come back and get back out there on that center court and to prove to the world that I could do it.
It's Musta's time.
I played like 6-7 months later, and I played on the tour, and it took me about 9 months to win another tournament, and I was back in the top 10 the year after, and it was a tough time, but it was a good time, and I really started to appreciate what I'm doing, that this is my job, that I'm really missing it, and it was painful, and it was terrible, but in a way, that's part of my life story, and I think that's something I'm going to be remembered for, is going to be my comeback.
Breaking news once more, Nadal is out.
Probably was the most emotional year of my career.
But Tony just asking whether everything's okay, or is he going to have to quit?
Not playing when I'm on court, competing, the adrenaline of the competition, and especially after 7 months, all the motivation, the illusion to be back is much more powerful than the pain.
Rafael Nadal. We knew he was a gladiator, as he's proven it over and over again, and this is just another chapter in the book of his legend.
I think, yes, it was one of the most, in terms of results, was one of the best seasons of my career. So it was a very competitive year for me, and on clay I won almost every match. Of course, it's an emotional season because I have been through tough moments in terms of injuries.
Record-breaking 22nd ATP Masters 1000 title and his 600th career match win.
How good it's got to feel after being out the game for 7 months and some change.
Say thank you very much, all my team who was with me the last, last a lot of years, but the last 7 months was especially hard for me. Thank you very much, everybody who is here and everybody who is not here, all my family, all my team who is in Spain supporting me. They was very, very, very important for me during these 7 months, and without them, it's going to be impossible to be back here. No, it's probably one of the most emotional victories on my career. 7 months are a lot without being here. I'm having this amazing feeling not to be in front of all of you. The support since I came back after that injury is being huge.
Ladies and gentlemen, the #1 tennis player in the world, Rafael Nadal.
Rafa Nadal has secured the year-end #1 in the ATP rankings for the 4th time in his career after 2008, 2010 and 2013.
For me, have been a fantastic season, very, very emotional one after all the things that I have been going through the last couple of years in terms of injuries. Have this trophy with me again is something that I never thought one year ago. So it means a lot to me.
Murray wins another marathon in Washington, D.C.
We've all missed it. He certainly missed it.
I played a bunch of practice sets against, top players, and they had gone really well, and physically I was not waking up with any discomfort the following day or later on. At some stage you need to make that jump and try and see what it's like in a match, because it is different. That's what I'm doing here. I'll find out and get a lot of information from competing here about physically where I'm at, the things that I still need to improve upon, and where my game is, and I can take that into the rest of the year with me. I have to look at bigger picture and say that 6 months ago I never expected that I was going to be here, and hopefully in 2-3 more months I'll be further down the road and feeling better and playing better tennis.
It's the perfect end to the most remarkable week for Andy Murray and Feli Lopez.
It's a special week for me for a lot of different reasons. I didn't know if I was going to be back competing at this level again a few months ago, so means more than almost some of the singles tournaments that I won, and just a brilliant week. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it means a lot. Last few years have been extremely difficult. I've had a lot of injury problems in the last couple of years. Amazing. I mean, yeah, I didn't expect to be in this position at all, so I'm very, very happy.
So Bjorn, 8 years after your first impression, 8 ans après votre première impression.
Well, it was difficult because, like you said, I didn't play match for 8 years. Bjorn, there is anything you regret today? No, I don't regret anything.
Has this match in any way changed your opinion about the difficulties of making a comeback?
Well, it's always difficult to make a comeback. In any sport, it's difficult. It's even more difficult in the beginning when you make the comeback, like the first game, the first match. I suppose I'm just one of those people who wants to come back and play tennis again. And now I enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it before when I stopped mentally 82 from the circuit. But now I really enjoyed it again, and that's why I started to play tennis. A very popular and interesting person, I suppose. Last year I decided that 1991 I like to come back and play tournaments.
Good set match, arrest. 6-3.
What did you feel was essentially lacking for you today?
I think match play, lacking match play, because I didn't play any matches for many years. It was very nice to be back to play Monte Carlo again, because it's always been one of my favorite tournaments. It's a great place and a great tournament, and to come back and play in front of this crowd here was really nice, because I mean, they were really pulling for me, and I just was too bad that I could get them a little bit longer match.
It's not Iceberg anymore.
Well, it is, but maybe in a different way.
After 2010, my life changed a little bit, you know. I started on 2011, almost 500 in the world, and playing against top guys in the first round, and lose very early in many tournaments. I'm still young, you know, but this career is going really fast, and you have to be 100% all the time. I don't know if I will play until 30 years old, but for me the chance to be a better player, a better person is now, and I'm working on that, you know, so I don't want to lose time anymore.
This guy is a big-time player.
I've been injured with my wrist a couple of times and survived.
There's no doubt that what Del Potro's been through in his career would have broken plenty of players. Juan Del Potro is a Masters 1000 champion for the first time in his career.
Thank you very much for the support and for following me and to give me too much love, to never give up after all my injuries, and it's part of you.
I always believed that I can actually get myself to that level. 5 months ago, it didn't really look probable.
History is made in Cincinnati.
The grass court season was a catalyst. Very proud and very pleased.
Novak Djokovic becomes the first man in singles to capture all 9 Masters 1000 titles.
In the hard times, I went through a little bit of a roller coaster ride in my career with injury and taking time off and having a surgery earlier this year. So this seems a bit unreal, to be honest.
If you told me 4 or 5 months ago that I'll be in this position, you know, fighting for a year at #1 and it would be amazing to sign that off right away.
It was a whole process of 2011 of really not knowing how much longer I'm going to play the sport, and there were many times where I thought, I think it's time for me to retire and do something else. And then to play Roger in a final after so many times as well, and to beat him on grass on Father's Day and having my father there and my father-in-law, I mean, it couldn't have been better, right?
7-6, 6-4. 7-6, 6-4.